Alabama five-star commitment, Caleb Downs, the number one safety in America. He took an official visit, not to Alabama over the weekend. He was in Columbus, Ohio. Is there any chance the Buckeyes can flip Caleb Downs?
Oh, absolutely. Downs was there for, 24-ish hours. He spent some time on campus Sunday as well, meeting with Eliano, Knowles, Ryan Day. They're very much in play. This was talked about even a couple weeks ago that he could potentially be at the Horseshoe, not at the Iron Bowl on Thanksgiving weekend. And we know we've talked about, at least I have, that Ohio State's the bigger threat, not Georgia to Alabama, even though Georgia is the in-state school. He sees the opportunity to get on the field. Look, Downs is going to play. He could go anywhere in the country, and he'll play, I think, day one. Will he start? Who knows? But he'll play. He's that kind of player. But he likes the fit at Ohio State potentially, and I think they are a real threat to Alabama. Look, Downs is not going to talk about the visit. He's not going to talk about the threat. He's playing in the semifinals this weekend coming up for a chance to play for the state championship in Georgia. His number one focus is there, but Ohio State is very much a threat to Alabama for Caleb Downs.
All right, keep on watching this one. Less than a month till signing day. Let's talk about right now five-star edge Keon Keeley. When we started the show back in September, it seemed like we talked about him every single episode. He had just decommitted from Notre Dame. He was taking visits, but his recruitment kind of went quiet the last 4 or 5 weeks until this weekend. He took an unofficial visit to Alabama, showed up on his own dime to go watch the Iron Bowl. Is this still an Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia battle? What are you hearing coming out of this trip?
I still like Alabama. I think the way it's been the last month or so is the way Keon Keeley likes it, extremely quiet. He's playing this very close to the vest. I mean, he's talking to other recruits. They're asking him, where his mind's at, where his heart's at, what his timeline is. He's not telling them anything. He's not telling much to his family. He's really keeping this internal for himself to figure out where he wants to go and when he wants to make that decision. But based on the intel and the pieces I've put together, I still like where Alabama's at. Ohio State had Jaden Minkins, another edge rush guy that's committed to LSU on campus this weekend for an official. I think, Ohio State maybe is trending there to flip him. Is that telling about where they feel their confidence levels at for Keon Keeley? Look, I don't think Florida's in this race anymore. If they are, they're a very, very distant third. I think Alabama's widened that gap to be the front runner for Keon Keeley. Now we're kind of waiting to see, when he makes that decision. Does he go to the early signing period? Does he set up an announcement at his high school in the next couple of weeks? That's kind of still, I think, be determined. But the buzz is still strong around the Crimson Tide with Keon Keeley.
Do you think it's an early signing day decision? I know you said you don't know. It could be late. But do you think, we got like 3.5 weeks to go. Do you think he makes an early decision?
Look, he's at Berkeley Prep. You're from that area. You've covered recruiting. That school's a little bit more traditional, a little more old school.
Shout out to Coach Sayo.
He's a great guy, been around for a long time. There's a lot of talented players at Berkeley Prep, but they do things a little bit differently. The only time they allow guys, and from what I'm told, to do the whole hat game, as far as lay the hats on the table, is during a signing day ceremony, not a pre-signing day. So if Keon wants to go that route and kind of have fun with it, whether it's mini helmets, hats, whatever, that will be an early signing day decision, I'm told. If he just wants to go out there and announce where he's going, that could come sooner. But right now, it could go, I think, either way. I think, obviously, he will announce at the latest during the early signing period, but it could come sooner.
All right, great. Alabama wasn't done there. They had a big visit weekend. Some of the teammates, two of the teammates that were on campus were James Smith and Quay Russaw. We've talked a lot about them, the 2 5-star defensive linemen. They were back in Tuscaloosa this past weekend. Does anyone have a real shot at this duo besides Alabama and Auburn?
I'm going to state what I've been saying for a while. Keep an eye on the Auburn Tigers. We saw them get Deron Reed without, a head coach in place. I still hear they are a true threat to Alabama. Now, Quay's going to mention Florida. He's going to mention Georgia. Ohio State's out of the mix for both of those guys. They put Alabama State, the school just 3 miles from their home, on their top 6 list, but they're not in play either. This is going to come down to an in-state battle. And I do
Okay.
think Auburn is one to watch when they get whoever the head coach is in place, whoever the D-line coach is in place, whoever they come in as a new defensive coordinator. Auburn will be in this race until the end. They like the Auburn culture. They like the community. They like the fan base. I talked to Cray on the phone Sunday night talking about the Iron Bowl last year at Auburn and this year in Tuscaloosa. He said there was nothing like that fan base on the Plains a year ago. Nothing against Alabama's fan base. The game was different a year ago too. Auburn was in that until the very end. Bama kind of controlled this game for the most part. So different atmosphere, sure. But I think Auburn's the one to watch, and they will be the one to watch until the end.
Auburn's really doing some unbelievable work on the recruiting trail without a head coach. I mean, their defensive line class is unbelievable. You also got Ruben Bain, who's heavily interested in Auburn still as well. So imagine if they could close on these two guys, couple that with Duron Reed and maybe Ruben Bain. You're remaking the entire Auburn defensive line without a head coach in place yet. So we'll see what happens here. 4-star linebacker Aryan Carter took his unofficial visit to Alabama this weekend. He's trending heavily on the On3 recruiting prediction machine. Does this seal it for Carter, who will be taking an official visit to Alabama in just a couple weeks?
Yeah, I don't think it's a done deal, Josh. I do think Alabama is the school to beat, but that school that's their biggest competition is who just beat them for David Hobbs. That's the University of Tennessee, the in-state program for Aryan Carter. They've made him a priority, a lot like David Hobbs. Josh Heupel was kind of taking this one at the wheel and become the lead guy, the lead recruiter, interacting with him, his family. This coming weekend, when Carter's on campus in Knoxville for his OV, I think that'll be very telling how it comes out of that weekend, what the buzz is. Did Tennessee make a significant move? Did they close that gap? Did they jump Alabama as the favorite? And then Bama will get him back on campus that next weekend, the weekend of the 9th and 10th in December, to try to maybe close the deal then. But right now, Bama's trending. Tennessee has a big opportunity coming up this coming weekend to at least make this a very interesting race. I don't think you can count out Tennessee just yet.
Thank you for watching. Make sure you smash that subscribe button for me. And remember to check out all the videos on the On3 YouTube page.